Dracula Mihawk's power is special, but there's way more to that. Usually people talk about Mihawk versus Shanks, or Mihawk versus Zoro, or even Mihawk dying to Shiryu of the Rain from the Blackbeard Pirates. So if you came here for that type of video, you need to leave, because today I reveal things never before speaking about, or should I say spoken about, Hawkeye, and I'll even explain the mystery of his eyes. But you're going to need to stay to the end to find out what I really mean when it comes to the ancient kingdoms, the ancient weapon, and even the ancient Delphoid abilities like Luffy's. But today it's about an ancient race, so let's go. Now, chapter 48, we see Mihawk in one of his early showcases, really early in the series, and how savage Mihawk is, destroying 50 ships of Dawn Kriegs, and then of course them only being saved by a storm kind of remind me of Roger Shiki in that chapter 0 moment. Of course, they also said the eyes that could kill with a glance, Hawkeye, really emphasizing how special his eyes are. And a lot of people like to have selective memory. Chapter 50, Mihawk followed them all the way to the East Blue from the Grand Line only to finish the job. He's a real sicko. Even seeing some of the Bartier's reaction to the savage known as Dracula Mihawk, saying he looks human enough. And of course, Oda chooses his words wisely, with one of the people saying he looks human enough, because I will mention this again later in this video, why this is so important. Then Mihawk gets asked a really serious question. Why are you bullying us? And which he replies, for fun. Like I said, guys, this guy's a real sicko. He's not, a good guy and everything. No, Mihawk is a real sicko, and people don't understand that. Just look at the first impression he had of Ronoa Zoro, our favorite 3-sword style user, the badass in the story. He says pathetic and weak. I bring up all these points to truly make you guys understand who Mihawk really is. Like, I feel like a lot of people don't remember Mihawk from the East Blue days. I don't blame you guys. It's been 1,000 chapters. Of course, 500 chapters later, in chapter 597, right before the time skip, Mihawk is disgusted and talking, excuse my language, mad shit about Ronoa Zoro for bowing down to him and begging Mihawk to teach him. It's a really highlighted moment in the story. The moment gets even more crazier because this is one of the moments, I think the only moment in the entire series where Mihawk actually laughs. Zoro made Mihawk laugh because Zoro says, I want you, of course, to train me, but I also want to take you out. That's what Mihawk says is the same. You want to kill me? The same man who you also want to train? This is important because Mihawk rarely laughs, like I said. So it just shows you how shocked Mihawk was. But this is not the only time Mihawk shocked by Zoro. Yes, after he fought Zoro in the East Blue, he told him go full send, shout out to the Nelk boys, and surpass me. And even Zeph was shocked by Mihawk's words. You see it highlighted here. What makes it even more funny is Mihawk didn't care for Dawn Krieg anymore. Dawn Krieg's like, yo, you want to fight me? And he's like, I had my fun. I'm gonna go take a nap. Really funny. Now, of course, I feel like a lot of people have been talking about this recently. Chapter 96, Mihawk, of course, goes to meet up with Shanks and says, why are you camping on this island? How reckless. Of course, people are highlighting that statement right there. Is there more to this certain island that Shanks was living on or camping on? It's even more interesting because Shanks says he's in a bad mood. Did something happen on this island that related to this island that Mihawk knows about? I'm not too sure, but of course Mihawk goes on to insult Shanks, saying, I don't want to challenge a one-arm has-been, and then shows Shanks Luffy's poster. Really cool dialogue early in the series. Then I go all the way to chapter 234. Mihawk says the two of the great powers, warlords and navy, but isn't a round table meaningless? Like, he knows they are just pawns to the Gorosei, and even higher up, Imsama, the man who sits on the empty throne, or woman, we do not know yet. Also want to say this, they maintain the balance. Don't forget, Gorosei and Imsama maintain the balance of the One Piece world. Of course, I thought it was really neat how Crocodile, Luffy, and Zoro are the main topics of this roundtable because of Cross Guild, Zoro trained by Mihawk, and of course the whole meeting up with Shanks to show Luffy's poster. Really cool stuff. And speaking of Luffy, chapter 560 during Marineford, Hawkeye speaks of fate when facing Luffy and apologizes to Shanks because he actually has the intention to kill Luffy in this war. No mercy, like the vicious man he is. And I talked about early in this video. I'm telling you guys right now, Mihawk ain't no joke. Even chapter 561, the title is called Luffy versus Mihawk, showcasing how important this confrontation is for Ichiro Oda, the man who made One Piece. Luffy runs because he knows how strong Mihawk is, and Mihawk activates his eye and of course senses where Luffy is and slashes him, saying, you are still in my range. You are still within my range. Obviously not room like Law's ability or even observation haki. It's something different. I think it has to do with his eyes, which I'll talk about later in this video. Like I said, stay to the end, guys. So many things will be revealed. Speaking of observation haki, after Mihawk crushes some insect, Nukama, Luffy gets angry and he attacks Mihawk and almost gets his arm cut off like he saw the future, in which Mihawk replies, "You're unusually calm." I think this has to do with future sight. That's a real big emphasis when it comes to observation haki, how calm you are, and seeing into the future. Katakuri. Going deeper into this fight with Luffy, Mihawk pushes him back saying, "What now? You're moving farther and farther from your brother." Really shows you how savage Mihawk is. He's talking mad shit and he's also backing it up. And after we see Buggy, another funny moment because of how Cross-Guild and Mihawk and their team up recently in the One Piece manga, saves Luffy with his Delphoid ability, and Luffy makes a run for it to go try to get to Ace. Mihawk is not letting up, of course, which leads to Mihawk saying, after Vista goes to help Luffy and stop Mihawk from, of course, killing Luffy, Mihawk says Luffy has the most dangerous power in the world. Of course, that power is making his allies, everyone around him, his allies. Also, can't forget to mention 2 chapters before this battle with Luffy, Sengoku reveals Luffy as Dragon's son, which causes shock to many people there except Mihawk. Mihawk says, "I ain't surprised at this point, and I believe Dragon might have something special just like Hawkeye." But that's for another video entirely that's going to come in the future, so definitely subscribe and you're going to see some crazy bangers. Now, of course, going to more recent stuff in the manga, chapter 956, the vicious savage Mihawk, his warlord title is stripped and he's excited to be chased. Reminds me of how we met him early in the East Blue. I kind of want to talk about how I recently in my latest video I talked about how the Gorosei with the sword is the most savage Gorosei. Mihawk is on a savage level just like that other samurai. Of course, chapter 1058, we look deeper into Cross-Guild. Look how they treat that weakling Buggy, just disgusted by him, and he's a Yonko, and Mihawk's like, "You're a Yonko and you're crying," and saying having him die isn't enough for what happened of him taking over the Cross-Guild. This is the Mihawk that I love, the savage Mihawk, the disrespectful Mihawk. Even looking how Crocodile pitched working together to Draco Mihawk, saying they're the same because they don't trust anyone. Crocodile has his own secret, of course, the whole Luffy mom theory that's going rampant in the One Piece community, and talks about how Mihawk being the marine hunter and how dangerous he is. That is very spooky, guys. He was hunting marines. He also has the highest active bounty, only behind characters like Shanks and Blackbeard when it comes to active bounties. And Brand New even said his sword skill was even higher than Shanks. Pretty much Oda is trying to tell you guys Mihawk is built different. But the main reason why I made this video was chapter 1073. It was what truly inspired this video. Zoro says Sokka is not the same. There's more humanity in Sokka than Mihawk, the Seraphim. Now, of course, you probably laughed at that answer, but there's more to this. Why is Sokka more human than an actual human? Unless I believe Mihawk's eyes being so similar to Imsama is not a coincidence. Just how there's the Lunarians with King who lived on the Red Line during the Void Century, and of course the Seraphim are based on this, and also Kuma being a special race recently revealed in Egghead Island, as well as I believe Mihawk is also a special race from the Void Century, hence the very spooky eyes, and I think his race, there's no more of it except Mihawk and Imsama. There are only 2 Black Blades in this series, Ryuma and Mihawk, and there actually might be a possibility that Mihawk is even beyond Yonko level. This is a very change of opinion because I used to always think Mihawk is barely Yonko level, but if this is true, there might be a special race. And I will say this, we just have to wait and see. Now, of course, if you guys are really interested in more Mihawk related content, check out this Mihawk versus the 7 Warlords videos that's on the end screen. Click on it, guys, because it's a really hype video. But that's all I got to say, guys. Like and share if you enjoy. Like and share only if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more One Piece content. I'm LegendMac and I'm gone.